Well, we're back with another video. And this week, we're going to be looking at fragrance longevity. So typically when you look at a fragrance's performance, there's three categories that you're looking at. You're looking at projection, sillage, and longevity. So let's talk about those three categories for just a moment.
Okay.
So what is projection? Well, projection is after you sprayed on a fragrance, how much it radiates off of you. So some fragrances might radiate an arm's length, some might only radiate, a few inches. It depends on the fragrance. Sillage, what's sillage? So if you spray a fragrance on, you walk into the room and then you leave that room, how long that fragrance lingers in the air. That's a fragrance's sillage. And longevity. So after you spray a fragrance on, how long that fragrance sticks on your skin. So today I'm going to be showing you 5 fragrances that have 10 plus hours of longevity on my skin. So, your experience might be different with these fragrances, but the way these fragrances react on my skin is just massive, and they last 10 plus hours. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So first up, from the house of Amouage, we have Beach Hut Man. So Beach Hut Man has a very classic and mature, but not dated profile by any means. It's quite earthy and green with a prominent minty note, and it also features the note of ivy. I don't have any other fragrances in my collection that feature the note of ivy, so it makes this fragrance very, very unique to my own collection. It has definitely a slight vegetal and green vibe, so it kind of reminds me of like walking through a forest and you have all the trees and vegetation around you. That's exactly what it reminds me of here. This stuff, a couple sprays, like I said, with all these fragrances, last 10 plus hours. With this one especially, I can jump in the shower. After I get out, I can smell it and it's still there. This stuff is potent. Be careful. Overall, this is just a very unique fragrance with amazing longevity. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Beach Hut Man by Amouage. Next up, from the house of Nishane, we have Fan Your Flames. So Fan Your Flames is a very smoky, coconutty rum experience. There's also tobacco in here. And that combination of coconut and rum almost gives this fragrance like tropical vibes a bit. But this fragrance has so much depth. It's on this list because longevity is crazy with this one. Actually, I wore this one yesterday and took a shower, it was still there. And I woke up this morning and I can still smell a little bit of it. So 10 plus hours to the max. This stuff is crazy, but this is a very sophisticated and opulent fragrance. I absolutely love it. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Fan Your Flames by Nishane. Next up, from the house of Memo, Paris, we have African Leather. So this is a very warm and spicy scent with a subtle leather touch. This is an absolute cardamom bomb. And for me, whenever fragrances feature cardamom, it gives the fragrance such a sexy vibe. This is such a sexy scent for a man, in my opinion. This is such a rich and natural aroma with hints of herbs, spices, and woods. This fragrance is extremely long lasting, but it's not overpowering by any means. It's full bottle worthy in my opinion, and I know I've said this before on the channel, but I'm definitely getting a full bottle of this fragrance. I love it that much. So if you can, get yourself a sample of African Leather by Memo, Paris. Next up, from the house of Jeroboam, we have Vespero. So this is a very multifaceted scent. So when you first spray this, you get a blast of crunchy green apple. And so this fragrance starts out very bright. And then as it progresses into the dry down, some leather note starts to push forward with a bit of smokiness, and it kind of leans more to that dark side of things while remaining very fresh. So, I guess, there's a slight resemblance to Creta Ventus in a very, very slight way, but it's not a dupe by any means. And in my opinion, I just prefer this fragrance a bit more. than Creed Aventus. But yeah, this fragrance, it's extrait de parfum concentration, and it just really sticks to the skin. So longevity is beastly on this one, just like the others on the list. And from this house, Vespero is probably my favorite. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Vespero by Jeroboam. And finally, from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, we have Oud Satin Mood. So this is a very warm and spicy take on Oud and Rose. So this one is very loud and intense with beastly longevity and projection. So I think I've told this story a few times on this channel. You know, I wore this fragrance to a coffee shop. I did 3 sprays, 1, 2, 3, and went to this coffee shop. I literally cleared that place. Everybody that was sitting around me got up and left. This stuff is crazy. Not only just like beast mode projection, sillage, but the longevity is crazy. It takes more than 1 shower. It might take more than 2 showers to get this stuff off, at least on my skin. Your experience might be different, but yeah, this one is crazy strong, so be careful. If you're not so much into powdery scents, this fragrance does come off a bit powdery, so just keep that in mind. But for me, this definitely was not love at first sniff. It took me a little bit to get used to this, but I absolutely love it now. But I'm just careful with how many sprays I do. So next time I wear this, and from now on, I usually just do 1 spray, and that works perfectly for me. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Oud Satin Mood by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. All right, guys, so that was it. 5 fragrances in my collection with amazing longevity. I have more fragrances that have that kind of beast mode, just crazy longevity, but I chose to feature those today. So let me know if you'd like to see more fragrances that have just crazy longevity, and I'll make another video on this topic. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content. And let me know down in the comment section which fragrances you have in your collection that have just crazy longevity. I'd love to hear about them. So I hope you guys are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.